A right-to-work law like the one Tim Hudak is vowing to bring to Ontario was enacted in South Carolina in 1954. That's 66 years ago. So, if right-to-work laws really do open the door to economic prosperity, as Mr. Hudak claims they do, South Carolina should be doing pretty well by now. Not so, says Carlton Washington. Washington is the executive director of the South Carolina State Employees Association. Anti-union laws such as right to work have left state employees in South Carolina with some of the lowest wages and poorest working conditions in the U.S.
When you consider the fact that 62% of state employees in South Carolina make between $15,000 and $35,000 a year, it's pretty alarming, particularly when they're asked to provide essential critical services to citizens. The number of employees have dropped. In 1990, we had 80,000 state employees in the state of South Carolina. Today, we have 56,000, which means that employees are doing much more with much less.
In 4 of the past 5 years, South Carolina state employees received a 0 pay increase, and the association was powerless to do anything about it. Why? Because in South Carolina, it's illegal for public employees to join a union and bargain collectively.
We are talking about folks that are on the front line at DHEC, Health and Environmental Control. Certainly we're talking about employees that build our roads and maintain our bridges and so forth. We're talking about vocational rehabilitation specialists. We're talking about other administrative folks and even middle managers. I mean, it's the pay scale for state employees has not moved in many years. There is no pay scale for employees to go through. If employees are remunerated, it happens through a cost of living increase or it happens through a promotion.
Washington and the association do the best they can. They lobby state legislators for better labor laws, but they haven't had a lot of success. Washington says that's because the Republican-dominated government has ceded control of much of the economy to corporations.
Well, in South Carolina, businesses have a great deal of impact on the political process. You see that today if you look in the paper where the governor is proposing decimating some of the critical functions of DHEC in terms of air, water, pollution. Some of the certifications that are necessary for businesses to do what they do are being shelved. And so when you think about the impact that businesses have on our political system, you very quickly realize that it's a scenario where the impact is felt immediately, and it's a scenario where citizens have less impact than businesses.
Washington notes that 66 years after right to work was passed, less than 5% of the workers in South Carolina are union members. And he says public employees are paying a high personal price and service to the public is going downhill.
What happens in your professional life transfers into your private life and your social life. And if you don't feel good about how you're being treated from your bosses, it affects your work product. You don't feel as good about coming in early or staying late or giving that 110%. And that's the point we're making. The other side of that coin is that you have a number of people who choose to leave state government and go to the private sector where the pay could be 20 to 30, even 40% more. The problem with that is that the state ends up paying more money to train someone else to come in and do that job and lose the experience.